Thank you. The litany of all the things that happened since April 26, 2020 is too long to tell in this service. There have been abundant amounts of both grief and joy. The world is a different place. Some ways better, other ways worse. Here in our little corner of the world, thankfully, I am no longer sitting at my desk and preaching to my laptop. I am here with you, all of you, and we're starting to know what it means to be able to gather again physically and in community. One thing, however, hasn't changed so much. It's one of the questions of my life. I talked about it a little last week, and I asked it on April 26, 2020. Now more than ever, can't we find a way to love our neighbor? Last week, I also talked about how we all need to serve the mission. For years, that has meant a lot of internal discussion. Certainly a good amount of service work for the community, a growing amount of social justice and witness programs, and as great as that has been, it feels like we are poised to take the next step. But what is the next step? Here's a reminder of what I said last week. In fact, this was my closing paragraph last week. And although a meeting is what we're called to today, our shared blessing to celebrate, let's not ever get so caught up in the institutional process that we forget why. Why we are here is to make love real as much as we possibly can for ourselves and each other and the world. 2 years later, after Laura's singing to ask us not to give up on love, and last week talking about our calling to make love real, today, now that we have moved past the annual meeting and the votes have been taken, let's take a bit of a congregational breather over the summer. But then when the new congregational year comes, I think we are ready to take some new steps. Maybe some riskier steps to make love real. For the first time in a couple of years, knowing how challenging the world is, I am truly feeling, wait for it, hope. I am hopeful about the future of this congregation. UUCF is now dealing with some of the long-standing issues that we've been struggling with, like financial sustainability in a post-baby boom religious landscape. We're facing some of the biggest social justice issues of our day, working with the UUA and the Potomac Partners and others to try to address them. We're restructuring our family ministry and religious education program to be more flexible and address the emergent issues of meaning for children and youth in these days. And we're revving up our music and arts program with the new children's choir and the adult choir coming back in September. The lay leadership here is incredible, healthy, and looking for ways to create an emergent strategy for a way forward into an unknown and unknowable future. So in a time of high stress, high strife, and high significance, UUCF might very well be poised to take some exciting new movements forward. I say this knowing how busy people are. I know so many of the struggles we have faced over the last couple of years. I know sometimes it feels like we aren't enough, we don't do enough, or we can't have enough of an impact. I know that often that these requests to do more make it seem like we ourselves aren't enough. I know it. I feel it myself. I get it. I'm not asking us to do more. I'm asking us to do different. Different won't all just come overnight. Different isn't about changing all the many things we love about UUCF. Different refers to a serious examination about these questions that I spoke of last week. How is the budget a demonstration of our mission? How are actions a demonstration of our mission? How does the use of our space fulfill the mission of transformation? And here's that big question. What if the primary question and our new framework from which to see our communal life was no longer about how churches serve their members, but how the members serve their community? What if we saw our primary role, our job as members, our way to grow in spirit, and at the heart of our mission, as creating programs, doing actions of witness, perhaps even risky ones, utilizing our space to radically foster connection, and as part of being an open and present source of love of neighbor for as much as of our community as possible? I'm talking about a radical shift in our perspective of welcoming the stranger, of loving boldly, of getting out of our heads and onto the streets, of deeply caring about the future of this institution, but fervently acting as a place of support, justice, and radical love. In other words, a place of solid ground. I'll show you good, restore your faith. I'll try and somehow make a meaning of the poison in this place. Convince you love, don't breathe it in. You were written into the stars that we are swimming in. It has no name, no guarantee. It's just the promise of a day I know that some may never see. But that's enough. If the bottom drops out, I hope my love was someone else's solid ground. How can UUCF be a model, an unselfish example, a life-changing, inspirational, creative, and extremely engaged solid ground for love in Fairfax County? Today, I use this song as a bookend. For on April 26, 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, in a very dark period, I said, I so deeply hope that we can say that we did not give up on love today. And again, day by day as we move forward, for that is all I can ask of myself, and that is all I will ask of you. That is the way that it felt on that day 2 years ago. I ask that at least we not give up on love. But now this is how I'm feeling, a little more than 2 years later, as we prepare to close this congregational year and move on to the next. I'm not asking us to do more, I'm asking us to do different. Different knowing the struggles we have been through and the demands we still face. And I'm hoping that different won't be exhausting. Trauma, grief, and sadness are what is exhausting. I'm hoping that different will be incredibly energizing, filling, and unbelievably meaningful as we use all of our resources to serve our mission to the fullest and make a difference with ourselves, each other, and this world. So for the summer, we breathe, we plan, we regroup. There will never be a complete blueprint or one right way, and we don't need it anymore. We don't need it anymore. We need a deep heart connection. We need the power at the heart of this faith. We need our shared dreams for this world. We need the brilliance of this community. And we need the never-ceasing electricity of our love. We can do this. I have faith in us. May that be so, and amen. Now, please join in body and or spirit, at home or here in the sanctuary, and rise and sing our closing.